Love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. How are you coming along with that? Extremely challenging. There's a man was interviewed on his 100th birthday, and the reporter asked him, "What are you most proud of?" And the man said, "I don't have a single enemy in the whole world." And the reporter said, "That's a beautiful, beautiful thought. How inspirational. How inspirational that is." "Yep," said the man, "I've outlived every last one of them." Well, that's one way to take care of it, I suppose. Love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. And pray for those who mistreat you. Has to be one of the most difficult teachings of Jesus Christ. One of the most difficult teachings to follow. How can we love our enemies? Now, I'm not talking about just those inconsiderate fools who pop in our lives on occasions, the ones who cut you off on the road and then salute you with the index finger and laugh as they are happy with that. Those who aggravate us in our lives. The world is full of people who aggravate us in our lives. Yet they're not your enemies. They're just aggravating people. And the world is full of them. This gospel, and I am talking about real enemies. The shooters. The shooters in our schools and in our public gatherings. The abusers who torture women. The abusers who torture children. I'm talking about people who steal your dignity, your self-worth, and laugh at you. Those are your enemies. Those who lie and cheat and defraud you and others. I'm talking about the enemies, those people who set out to really hurt us and to hurt others and cause enormous pain in society and to us individually. That kind of enemy. And by the way, that's not an exhaustive list. You know that. It's only a partial one. Our natural response to folks like that is to dehumanize them. The popular phrase these days, it's called the new normal. Nothing normal about it at all. We pretend that they're not our fellow human beings. But that just wouldn't be true. Because they are our fellow human beings. Some of them are in our families. They eat, they drink, they have mothers and fathers. Perhaps they have children and families. And they are also children of God. And they are loved by God. Our enemies of today, as incomprehensible as it may seem, That is fact. Can someone be guilty of terrible, awful, horrific acts and still deserve compassion and mercy? Jesus thought so, because he forgave his executioners' enemies. He forgave his executioners from the cross. And they were truly barbaric. Can there be any doubt that Jesus also loved them? Okay. So loving our enemies does not mean that you're going to add them to your Christmas list. Loving your enemies does not mean that you're going to make them your best friends. But it also doesn't mean that you're going to excuse them and excuse their behavior. It does mean that you're going to forgive them, because that's what Jesus did. And his mercy endures forever. The gospel message today, as difficult as it is, calls us to repay injury with blessing, calls us to repay hatred with love. The hardest thing we'll ever have to do is contained in this gospel today. But remember the last line of the gospel, and everything falls into place. The measure with which you measure will in return be measured out to you. And that's God's promise to us, and our challenge is to live out that promise. The church said amen.